Welcome back to Mama Needs a Moment, and a special welcome to our HER expert providers joining us for today's roundtable conversation on holistic beauty and wellness rituals for overwhelmed moms. This series is all about realistic, life-giving practices that help moms feel grounded, restored, and more connected to themselves without adding more pressure, perfectionism, or impossible routines, because that's what we all want. Together, we're going to explore simple nervous system resets, mindset shifts, sensory grounding practices, connection-centered parenting, and approachable beauty and wellness rituals that actually fit into real life. Before we dive in, each of our experts will briefly introduce themselves and share their area of focus. And don't forget, these conversations are also available in video format on our YouTube channel. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tiffany Webb. I am the owner of Stillness and Skin Skincare Studio. I help women navigate and understand their skin during transitions and just really using skincare as a way to reconnect to themselves and own beauty on their own terms. So I'm work mostly with women in like their late 30s, going into 60s, dealing with perimenopause and menopause, but honestly, anybody in transition. So from teenager to young adult, your pregnancy, postpartum, any transition at all.
I'm Irene Gooch with Loving Lessons Sleep Solutions, and I support parents as a postpartum doula and sleep coach. And I work with families that have newborns through the school age season, and specifically with parents who are exhausted, overwhelmed, and they have tried everything with their child that's sensitive, very alert, and has a case of FOMO, fear of missing out. I use a holistic approach through the Calm and Confident Sleep Foundation to pinpoint the root cause of that sleep disruption. We build a clear plan together and give parents the tools to move forward with confidence. And parents then can learn to lead sleep and have sleep coaching success when they can show up and feel calm, confident, and rested.
I'm Naseem. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I own Javon Coaching. It's a therapy practice and coaching practice that supports moms with anxiety, depression, perfectionism, people pleasing. And my coaching practice covers and supports women who are struggling with overwhelm, the identity shift in becoming a mom, and also supporting the communication with their partner and decreasing resentment.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Parise. I'm the founder of Great Days by Sarah because I think everyone, especially moms, deserve to have more great days. And I'm an ACE certified personal trainer and accountability coach. So I think food, fitness, and then finding your best self in motherhood. And I do everything under the 2% umbrella. So 2% of the day goes back to you. If you're not a mathematician, it is 28 and a half minutes. So we break it down to 28 minutes for yourself each and every day. So when we are our best, we can show up our best to everyone else we want to care for.
So many moms are carrying invisible pressure to quote unquote do wellness right. There's social media that sells you everything under the sun in an idealized version of self-care, and it makes motherhood look polished and consistent and aesthetically perfect. But gosh, I know that real life rarely works that way. And I know all of the people here feel that way as well. So for other overwhelmed moms, the pressure they feel from social media and the fear-led wellness claims that are out there can actually create more stress, guilt, and feelings of failure instead of helping a mom feel supported. We would love in this episode to help moms release perfectionism, embrace the flexibility, and redefine wellness in a way that feels compassionate and sustainable and realistic for them and the season that they're in. So how can moms let go of the performative wellness expectations and create a more flexible, realistic relationship with beauty, wellness, and motherhood? We're getting into a time again where there's a lot of body focus on smallness. We had a time where we were getting a little bit more body positive imaging, but we're kind of shifting again. So there's that. And I'd love to turn it all to all of you about how moms can let go of the messages that they're receiving that you have to be perfect.
One of the whole basis of why I really started my own business is because the culture of the beauty industry, the mainstream messaging, I don't really love because it is very much on what is wrong with you. And so a lot of times when you go to, a spa, it's now we give you this laundry list of all the things that like we need to check off to fix for you. This is what's wrong. That's going on, what's wrong. And one of the biggest things for me is I start off on a set when a client comes to see me is I'm like, what do you love about your skin? So now that changes the whole perspective. And we get to talk about what beauty means to you. That is so important to me. Not what social media has told you, none of that. That's let's put that to the side. What's really truly honestly important to you? What do you want to see when you look in the mirror, when you are out and about? What's important? Right? Like, how are you going to feel most comfortable and in love with you? And so we go from there. And honestly, again, I love a simplistic routine. So we're not going to have like 20,000 steps, just things that really can simplify it, fit into your life. And then we can always pivot, always transition. So I think that's really important. Just staying flexible with yourself, knowing that like you're going to transition, you're going to evolve, you're going to go through different things. And honestly, knowing that that's part of the ride, that's part of the joy of being a woman, honestly, right? So love yourself, know what matters to you. And yeah, that's just kind of how my view on it is.
So it was like kindergarten homework for my son, and he was doing this coloring sheet. And I just remember he was like working so hard and coloring, and he was crying, and he was just like, I can't get it done. It's just too much and all that. And I was like looking at him and I was like, honey, it's okay. You don't have to finish it. And it was like in that moment, it made me realize, like, do I accept and say that to myself? And it was a really big aha moment just to mirror that. I was like, he's only doing this because that's what he has observed and seen me do. And so through my sleep coaching journey as a postpartum doula, like these were things that I started seeing and understanding, like my child's only doing what I'm doing. And I want to show up and look and be a little bit better and different. And, I wanted to, like, I didn't have what I coach families on. I didn't grow up with this modeling. This was not the norm. And so, like learning to speak more compassionately to myself was a process. It was not easy. And so it was just that reminder. I just remember that kindergarten homework and being like, why can't he just let it go? I was like, well, why can't I just let it go? And of course, it was just recognizing like it's just too much pressure that we're putting on ourselves. And so that's kind of where, you've probably heard me say before, like breathe love and recognizing like, what is it that I need right now in this moment? Because usually in that moment, the tension is high and there's pressure. And that's usually when nothing can move forward until we can like take a moment to pause so that we can take action and make it better.
Tiffany, I love what you said when you start with what do you love about your skin? It reminded me of a phone call that I had just a couple weeks ago with a mom, and I offer these free wellness coffee chats. They're like 20 minutes. Like, tell me what your pain points are. Let's see if we can get you to a comfortable place and a plan, no matter what that looks like for you. But she was going into everything like how most moms start of like, I need to lose X amount of pounds. I have to do this. I have to do this, and kind of focusing on a lot on the numbers on the scale. And so at the end of the beginning rant, which is often common, I said, well, how do you want to feel like day to day? And she's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, like, how do you feel throughout the course of your day? Do you have a lot of energy? Are you like feeling good in the afternoon? Are you happy when your kids get off the bus? And she was like, no to all of those things. I don't like how I feel. I don't look forward to my kids coming home because it's a lot of pressure to like get the snacks ready to entertain them after school. And I said, does it have anything to do with the weight? Like you mentioned the weight multiple times. And she's like, I think things would be easier if I lost some of the weight. And I was like, okay, but what if we just focused on like getting stronger so you felt like you had more energy when the kids got off the bus and that you could bring them to the playground and you weren't as tired? And just kind of shifting that conversation on like, it's not it's not about the weight. People think I'm a personal trainer and they always think, oh, you're a weight loss coach. And I'm like, nope. Maybe if you need to lose weight, it can be a pleasant side effect, but it's not about the number on the scale. It's more about how you feel. So I like that you said, Tiffany, when you brought it back to like, well, how do you tell me something good about your skin? Tell me what's functioning right now, and kind of shifting that like all or nothing. They're like, well, I have joined this gym. I don't go. I have meal plans, but I don't make them. And I'm like, great, let's start small. Of just having those tiny micro wins is the best place to start. And shifting that like lack of perfectionism, I tell people all the time, maybe you just need to spend less time on social media. Like it's just not serving us as if I get targeted for one more anti-wrinkle or lymphatic drainage scraper for my face one more time, I'm probably going to lose it. But this is the world we're living in, that I saw a woman who was 62 the other day and she looked like she was 21. And do I need that in my life? I mean, probably not so much in my feed, but turning in and be like, what works for my family right now? Because what works best for my family doesn't work best for Cindy's family. Her kids are a little bit older. It's just a different shift. So really asking yourself, as you're feeling this pressure of like, does this work for me right now? And like all of us, does it work best for our family?
I think that's so important, Sarah. And I feel like the amount of time that we're spending on social media and what we're consuming is really important as well. So being able to just like recognize our screen time, like recognizing how much time we're spending and what information we're actually consuming. The people that we follow, we want them to be honest and transparent about motherhood, not just how amazing and beautiful it is. Like we want them to talk about the difficulty and the challenges. And so being able to find the community that we actually feel supported with, not just social media, but finding our own mom community that we can talk to about all of these pressures is really super significant and helpful. And I often like slow things down and think about what is the legacy that I want to leave behind for my kids? What are the most critical things that are important for me if I boil it down to one, two, or three things? Like that's how I want to live my life and show up every single day. And are those things, am I acting in accordance and to those values that I have? Because I feel like just being able to slow it down to that is really helpful. And, I've tried to do the things that social media does. I've tried to be the craft mom. I've tried to be the mom that, has her kids' lunch in shapes, and it just did not work out for me. It never it was like, you know what? I'm just not creative. I don't have that creative bone in my body. So I feel like just being able to be flexible and spontaneous and figure out what my strengths are and how I want to show up and how I'm actually living towards the legacy that I want to leave behind for my kids is really important. They're not going to say, Mom, you're such a great craft mom, because that's never going to happen. So yeah, I think just being able to like figure out what your values are and how you want to show up for your kids is really important.
I had a therapist the other day tell me that if you have a visceral reaction to something on Instagram, no matter if it's like someone you follow, someone that's popping up, you should just silence them immediately so they don't come up in your feed if you're having that kind of reaction. And I loved that advice of like, you want things to show up that make you feel great as a mom, as a woman, as a human in general, not something that like makes you physically nauseous to be seeing or invoke guilt like a lot of things do.
Who needs a sandwich shaped like a fish anyway, right?
One of the things I love that Nassim brought that up, because I think it's really important to recognize like who we are as a parent and bring our gifts and talents to our children and share that. Like oftentimes I think that gets stifled in the parenting journey. And then all of a sudden we find ourselves, Sarah mentioned, she was like, now the parent feels like they have to entertain their child. And I oftentimes will talk with families and I'll say like, do you want to entertain them or do you want to engage with them? And if I choose to engage with them, that's where I'm going to bring in those mindset moments, all those tips and tricks I think we shared in another episode, where now I'm bringing in meaningful connection and I'm not feeling like I have to entertain you.
Thank you for helping our moms figure out ways that they can let go of perfectionism and just start redefining what's going to help them feel good and that they're already beautiful. And I'm going to plug right now, we had mentioned in several episodes about community, finding community, and Her Health Collective does offer a mom community. It's called Her Circle, and you're welcome to come and join us. We just embrace everyone that is part of our community. So